It's gonna get better. Never stay the same. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better.
Hello and welcome to the Ericka James Show. Boy, do we have a show for you today. We are all about life on purpose. Today's show is how to stay focused. You heard me right, how to stay focused. I need background music with that. Focus, focus, focus. It's such an important topic. I want to just give you a few snippets about focus. Focus is all about your ability to move forward with no distractions, without taking your energy and your focus off of what you are looking to complete. It could be a plan, it could be a task, it could be a project, whatever it is. When you focus, you are able to do it without distraction. There's 3 types of distraction I want you to know about. There are 3 types. The first is a distraction that is self-sabotaging. A second is an uncontrollable distraction. And then there's the controllable distractions. So as you're listening to the wonderful stuff we're bringing you on today's show, I want you to think about what type of distractions are coming up in your life. Are they self-sabotaging distractions? Those things we do out of fear? Or those things we actually do subconsciously to sabotage ourselves from moving forward? Maybe it's, overeating. That was when I really had to work with. It was a form of self-sabotage for me. Or maybe it is hiding, not bringing your voice forward, things that are taking you off focus and derailing you and getting your attention this way or that way, but not focus forward. And then there's the uncontrollable distractions. Those are the hats that we wear. We have to raise our families. We get to spend time with friends. It takes you off for a moment. They're uncontrollable because they're real things we have to deal with. We have to manage those. We want to eliminate the self-sabotaging ones. And then the controllable distractions, we want to eliminate those also. The ones that we can actually control. Your phone just rang. Do you know you have a choice to not pick it up? Your email just went ding, there's a notification. You can control whether or not you allow technology or other individual things that come your way to distract you. Those are controllables. You can turn off your notifications. You can stop the ringer on your phone so you can focus in. And my favorite practical tip of all, I heard it in a teleclass years ago that was all about high-level time mastery. And she talked about this $12 tool that will change your life. Do you know what it was? It was a kitchen timer, a digital kitchen timer. Time yourself. And in those moments where you are working on those goals, working to not eliminate those distractions, set your timer. And you will be amazed at how you can focus forward and actually get things done. I want to give you real practical things that you can implement. We have a guest that's going to share more of the same, Dr. Barbara Lowe, who you get to meet in just a few minutes. But we go over some practical ways that you can utilize tools and tips to stay focused. And then stay with us because we're going to have our prophetic time and it is going to be fabulous. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Ericka James Show. So excited to share with you today how to stay focused. It sounds so easy, but we know it is not. When you are doing things that are big, you're doing what I call your extraordinary. How do we stay focused? I am so ecstatic to have a special guest with me here today, Dr. Barbara Lowe, and I get to ask her wonderful, juicy questions about how she stays focused in the midst of being a licensed psychologist who has built a thriving practice for years and then has done the World Women's Wholeness Summit. It has been amazing to watch from that moment we had coffee and you were launching your brand globally to now. And it is a global movement. It touched over 250,000 lives. It's still touching. Yeah. And the vision for it is gargantuan and she is just getting started. So I want to jump in and feel free to share anything else about yourself that you want to share today.
You know what's interesting about that moment when we met, I was going through a really difficult thing with one of my sons and he was there and And there was a difficult journey I was going through. And I think often when we are launching something, when God is moving, and I believe that there's a lot of this for us, that there's often holding purpose and passion and the things of the Lord with struggle and bringing things before the Lord. And I remember the Lord telling me, eyes on me, not on your son. All you need to do every day is obey me, because my son was in a situation that could have been life and death. And he's come through that, and God took him through, and God even used some interventions to get a hold of him. And God said, eyes off him, eyes on me. And so what's interesting is that during that time when we met, you actually had some prophetic words for my son. And I don't even remember what they were, but hallelujah, I'm sure they're coming true, because he is doing better. And you and he had a conversation. But what's interesting is that we're talking about focus, and yet I had a major distraction going on.
Yeah.
Major, because he was my firstborn son, my baby.
That's real. That's real. And when you're putting those big things out, that stuff tends to stir up. And it gives you an opportunity to be derailed, to be distracted.
Yeah.
So walk me through kind of what your process is to stay focused as we have to wear the mama hat, as we have to wear the businesswoman, the boss lady hat, all the different hats you wear, wife, you know, founder of a international movement, you know, and you know, the truth is, it's not just a movement of incredible women. You're doing the healing work constantly.
Yeah.
How do you stay focused in all of that? What are some of your behind the scenes processes? I would love to hear that.
Well, I love the energy draining versus life-giving tools. I mean, I love working with healing where the past is present, but I do love all the positive psychology and pushing forward. And there's something to this of looking at our life all the time. I believe in even writing things down. What is energy draining and what is life-giving in my life? And we can look to see where there's life. And this is the year, this is the season of holy pivot. This is a season of holy pivot. And so right now we need to be pivoting even more. But anyway, you can list everything that you're doing. Like obviously taking out the trash has to be done every week. So there are things like that you don't even need to put on the list unless you can delegate that. If you can delegate that, put it on the list, girl, put it on. But so you put down everything on a list and you look, you really kind of sit with each thing. What is energy draining? What is life-giving? And then you begin to prune. You prune out those things.
And that makes it easier to stay focused.
So much easier.
So good.
Because the motivation.
Talk about delegation. I feel like you are a delegation master. How do you know what to delegate? When do you know how you want to delegate stuff, but the people haven't shown up yet? What's your process? How did you get the right people in the right seats on your team?
Yes. Well, I get to a point where I realize that the grace is up for me doing everything. Because when we are visionaries, when we are go-getters, we have to learn a lot all at once. But then there's this process of letting go. I mean, I have a practice manager who knows things that I don't know anymore. And we have to be willing to do that. And we also have to move from doing everything to beginning to set up hiring strategies, set up vetting strategies, even go through a couple people who are not the right people, because we all have to go through that. And then you shift into having a lot of one-on-ones during the week with the people and with the people who are doing the work for you. And our main purpose is to make sure that there's accountability and make sure that we're infusing vision and culture into everything that we're doing, that people are understanding what our vision, what our culture is. And that's key to that delegation, because people will get behind your vision. And then if they're not and they move on, that's okay. That's okay. But it's so key to realize what you're good at, what you're not good at, and to give away those things that you're not good at.
That's so huge. Take off the Superwoman cape.
Or wear it, but wear it in a different way.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because my practice manager for my practice and my husband, who's the CEO of the online business, they're so good at more detailed stuff. And like my practice manager is so good at managing I am not a manager. I love to impart vision, but I don't like to do this. I don't like to do payroll every week.
Right.
But
Right.
he does. He really, really does. And I don't like to look at the finances. I mean, my husband and I had a financial meeting last night, and so we were like, okay, here we go, because he loves being in the finances all the time, and like I don't have a grace for that. But I need to know the finances, and I need to know what he's doing, because that's part of what I need to see as a visionary, to know where we need to go.
Yes. So you mentioned working with your husband. That is good stuff. I'm taking notes. Just know I'm
Oh,
taking mental
girl.
notes. As you are working with your husband, what's your biggest lesson you've learned? Because that's something a lot of women struggle with. How do we do
Yeah.
this and do
Mm-hmm.
this in partnership as a
Yeah.
visionary?
So this is going to be a little bit of a psychological
Bring it, honey. We
explanation
can
as well.
handle it. Yeah.
So when we look at attachment styles, people are generally either mostly securely attached, or some version of a little bit anxious, a little bit avoidant. So avoidance are going to pull away. Anxious are going to be like, give me all the loving.
Yes.
All right. So my husband and I are both fairly securely attached with a piece of anxious, right? So when we are good, it's like lovey-dovey, 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 because those anxious attachment people, if when they have a little bit of anxious, if you make them happy, they are so lovey-dovey all the time, right? So we're like lovey-dovey, dovey. So we're like 95% dovey-dovey-dovey. And we've learned that to do business together, we can't go into business mode, because it's like, what did you mean by that tone? Because we
Yes.
both, we both come out of divorce. I have come out of a lot of trauma, and so we've worked really hard, but we both have weaknesses. So we have to, and we've had to tell our teams, we're so sorry, but you're going to have to be in this dovey world with us, because we're just going. We do better when we're sugary
Got it.
sweet.
Got it.
We really do, and so we need to remember who we are and what we need, even when we're in business mode.
You all do it well. So it's awesome. And tell me, I want to delve a little deeper, because my mind's going, ooh, what tools do you use to stay focused?
Mm-hmm.
You're now managing a global movement. You're managing your brand. You're managing
Yeah.
the managers of your
Yeah.
business. You're
Yes.
managing probably parts of a household,
Yes.
unless you have a household manager. But
Uh-huh.
what tools do you use? What are your practical go-tos?
Those weekly meetings, weekly all hands meetings are really important. Weekly one-on-ones with like with my practice manager and with my core team for my online stuff is really important. I've put up huge calendars, and then a huge marketing calendar overview in my office, which is also my studio. So it's funny, you see no clutter from here back, but then
Behind the
tons of clutter from here
Yeah, but
forward.
behind the
But then
camera.
I can look
Yeah.
up. So let's see, we use Dropbox. I clear out my emails daily. Well, I only keep in my email box things I need to do, so that emails don't get lost. My husband really works with me on texts are for urgent, emails are for less urgent, and phone calls are probably for very, very urgent.
Got
And
it.
so you develop this culture and this system within your team. We're always looking at who does what when. We have a large percentage of opt-outs that we're going to work on getting back in, but we've developed an email list of about 35,000
Yes.
over 2 years. And so, so I just came up with my email strategy this morning for different things we're going to have to do to segment and things. And I'm going to have a whole bunch of people in this boring meeting to have shared information, so that we can all understand what's going on. And then we're going to delegate out from that who does what.
So you talked about really being able to lean into your joys, lean into, the things that bring you joy and the things that do not bring you joy. And then that leads us to getting those things off of your plate through delegation. So really delegate would be step 2. And power step 3 would be really taking that quiet time to get clear. And there might even be a 2.5, because you talked about tools, because you have to have the right tools.
Yeah.
And so tools that work for you, you'll find some that do, find some that don't.
Yeah.
So that is so huge. So we
Yeah.
can begin to stay focused and really dial in on who's there to help, how do we work those relationships really powerfully. And then how do we get this all done? When people are pulling on you, when tasks are pulling on you, when your business is pulling on you, when your children are pulling on you, you are a living testament that it is possible. And to do it all while looking gorgeous and stunning. Like, it's so good. So thank you for sharing that. I told you Dr. Barbara is awesome. We are doing some amazing things. I'm so honored to be a part of it. And this year, God is doing some pivots. So we are shifting into the part of the show that we get to talk about the prophetic and what's coming. I get to find out what God has been downloading to Dr. Barbara for 2021. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are all about how to stay focused today. And I love, love, love this segment. We get to delve into the prophetic and I'm like, whoop, whoop, and utilize the prophetic. How do we utilize that to stay on point, stay on purpose? We have with us an incredible world changer, Dr. Barbara Lowe, who is actually changing the world. You know how people say that all the time, but she really has a worldwide movement. And I'm so I want to hear more about it. But we're going to delve in because she actually walks in the prophetic also. So we're going to have some conversation. So I want to know, how do you tap into the prophetic for yourself to really keep the pieces of what I would call an empire, to keep the pieces of your empire moving forward and on track?
Yeah. Well, I think staying open and having that regular time with the Lord. I also think it's really important to be around other people who are prophetic or who are possibly seers, and we don't have to do that anymore through face-to-face. We actually can have spiritual mamas and spiritual papas out, who are online.
What is God sharing with you for 2021?
I had a word at the beginning of 2020 that it was really time to press in like never before, that there'll be a triple blessing for anyone who pressed in. And then 2020 happened, and I could see why. I mean, there was a lot of tossing and tumbling, right? It was a hard year. And there's going to be a tremendous amount of opportunity for you, for me, if we will shift with the wind, if we will heed what the Lord said. I also believe the Lord has shown me that there are going to be still continued waves of cleansing, and that the Lord is not going to be in the chaos. The Lord is not going to be in the storm. He's not going to be in the earthquake. The Lord will be in the still, small voice. So don't look for the Lord in the chaos. Look for the Lord in the still, small voice. The Lord's been showing me that women are going to play a key place in the revival that's actually already starting, but we can't see it. I had a dream recently where people were being given over to a spirit of fear, including in the news, that was shifting people, some even people in the newscasting industry, into extreme mental health conditions like schizophrenia and paranoia. Because if you give yourself to a spirit of fear, it'll take you farther than what you want. So we're not seeing everything that the Lord is doing. A revival is already starting in places, but it's not being promoted. But women are going to play a key role in what is happening. And I also believe in part of the pivot for the World Women's Wholeness Summit. So go to 3wsummit.com and register. It's free.
Yes.
We're including a lot more of the prophetic, a lot more of what God's doing. Because last year we went deep, deep,
into the
and
brokenness
intimate.
Yes.
This year we're going high and out and about.
That's so good. I love the practical parts, of the prophetic, the right here, right now stuff. So that is awesome. What would be your question to God?
We just looked at finances last night, and God's put on my heart this travel strategy related to the World Women's Wholeness Summit.
Yes.
And I know we have money for payroll as we are, but I want God's strategy for finances moving into 2021 and for the things He's put on our hearts to do.
Yes, got it. Ooh, I think we all have that question, don't we? I love it. But this one is really for you based on what you've built. He said he's already told you that this is going to be a time of great growth and expansion, and to stay focused on that, because other things will be restricting and constricting for people. But this is a time of growth and, how do I say this? Massive multiplication. Thank you, Lord. He's saying massive multiplication. So he gave me a diagram, and there's a central office. This is a Dr. Barbara brand. And then out from that is almost like a franchise model, that it is time to license your mastery, license your genius, license your wisdom, not just oversee, but actually duplicate the Dr. Barbaras. And it's going to create a huge ripple effect internationally with people. And people are going to come. I'm actually seeing very full ballrooms of people coming, and hotel rooms or wherever your training center rooms of people coming to get licensed in the Dr. Barbara method. You know, whatever. The Lord said he's given you, I'm hearing the word amalgamation. You're an amalgamation of many different modalities and teachings, and then you can't put you in any one of them. And he's actually already been pouring out to you it's a new thing. It doesn't have a label yet. And so you're going to give it a label, and then you're going to teach the Dr. Barbara method, whatever that is, and people are going to line up. The Lord said you have touched more people, Dr. Barbara, than you even realize. And you are aware of quite a few because they reach out to you. They let you know, they send you emails, but you've touched even more people that haven't responded. The Lord's saying 3 times more people than you even know about that are on the E-list have been touched by your obedience and by your saying yes. And they will line up. And there's going to be a huge ripple effect. And these, I don't know another way to say it, but these mini Dr. Barbaras, you know what I mean? They will be able to go in places that you can't go. And the training, the transformation of every aspect of people, mind, body, and spirit, it is going to happen. It's gonna ripple for like centuries, you know. And so it's a franchise model for you this year. You may not call it that, but it's a model of duplication and licensing the genius. It's a licensing program, and you're gonna set up, you know, the financial structure in a way that it creates rivers. The Lord's showing rivers of residual income, and it's going to roll. He's going to pour out the pieces and roll out for you that new financial strategy this year. And as you're traveling, doing the summit, women are going to say, I want to basically, how do I do this work? How can I do this? How can I be trained? And they don't have the, 35, 40 years of training that you've had to take. You're giving it to them. God's showing me like a tablet, a capsule, in an encapsulated form that they can ingest it and then go do this work with other people. And you're bringing those pieces. And so it's your own it's your own licensed program. Does that resonate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's the coaching.
Yeah.
It's the coaches.
But even more so. Like even more than what you currently have, it's a larger franchise model.
Yeah.
And people are paying in financially even more to become a part of it. And then there's things the franchisor provides and the franchisee. And it's not just coaching. You're going to create something new. It's an amalgamation of what you've been doing, and people are going to show up. And God said this model he gave you, it was the practice for what's coming. Yeah. So
the practice for what's coming.
Like you said, you already have coaches that are out there. But he said that was the practice. That was a warm up for this larger system, this franchise system he's going to bring you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Woo!
So it's like it's more.
Lord.
It's growth and expansion.
Yes.
The seeds he's giving you, I see them just water and sprouting, and again, very quickly. Very quickly.
So good.
And you're masterful in how to manage the overwhelm and all that. But yeah, it's going to move very quickly this year.
I love the word amalgamation. And by the way, that's one of my favorite words.
I was like, why am I saying amalgamate?
Yes.
So good.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the word I got for you in terms of financial strategy for 2021 and beyond.
Yes.
So yeah.
That's so good.
Awesome.
We actually just, part of that restructuring that we just did was remaking something we had into a more digestible format, and I'm rolling that out slowly right now, and it's going to be rolling out for the next 2 years.
Yes.
Yes.
So good.
My
Awesome.
method.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Okay, the method. Yes. So, but Fran, you got it.
Okay.
And God's already bringing you. He said there's more that he's going to be bringing you about that, though.
Yes.
So I love the confirmation.
Yes.
Sometimes you can get the prophetic and it's so far out, there's not a bridge to it. So
no,
to know you all are building the
this
bridge
is totally,
awesome.
Yes. And even World Women's Wholeness Summit, which is like a brand under the brand.
Yeah.
Because we have Hearts Returning Home, which is my method. So it does actually have a name. And then we have the World Women's Wholeness Summit, but the Lord's told me even this year to go out and about into hubs with it. So it feels like everything is about like that kind of model.
And what I want you to really hear is all the stuff you have, he's going to bring you something new.
Something new.
Yeah, it's not the existing method. It's even another level.
Okay.
Yeah, so be hearing that. Because it's easy to go, well, I have this, Lord. And he's like, nah, that was just the warm up
Okay.
for what I'm going to bring you. There's a whole other level
Okay.
of that. Like that was stair step number 2.
Uh-huh.
He's going to take you to like stair step number 10. It's
Okay.
going to be a whole new level
Okay.
of what you currently have in the method or anything, the coaching
Okay.
program. It's a whole new method.
All right.
And it's going to amalgamate in another
Woo!
level. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Bring it on.
Yeah, we receive it. So I hope that was a blessing
Yes.
to you, not just Dr. Barbara,
Yes,
but to
I'm
you.
sure it is.
And you start taking those questions. You know, what is your financial strategy, especially if you took some financial hits this year, like so many of us did. So remember to take the big questions and the small questions in that quiet time and ask. So I hope that was a blessing to you. And there is the power of the prophetic on the Ericka James Show. We will talk soon. We've got some good stuff coming up, so I'll see you soon.